Welcome, everyone. My name is Valerie Aaron, and I'll be talking to you about designing and facilitating learner-centered online learning. What is learner-centered instruction? Learner-centered instruction, or LCI, means making the learning about the student. So that means that the learning is personalized. You are trying to target individual student needs and interests, and you're focusing on making sure that the learning experience is adapted to their learning styles and how they like to learn. Learner-centered instruction should also be engaging. Learning activities should hold their interest and connect learning to personal experience and intrinsic goals. Ultimately, the students should be motivated to learn in these learner-centered environments. Um, Student-led. So learning-centered instruction should prompt students to lead their learning and give them the opportunities to make choices and guide the instructions. And teachers and instructors typically assume the role as facilitators and mentors, guiding the students through the learning. And we'll talk more about that throughout this presentation. We will look at 5 strategies that attribute to a successful learner-centered online learning environment, as well as talking about 4 key frameworks that support each of these strategies and their effectiveness for online learning. The first is social collaborative learning, authentic and active learning, student autonomy and personalization, the instructor as the facilitator, and technology for engagement. Social and collaborative learning. When designing an online learning environment, it's important to consider what opportunities you can give students to still collaborate and socialize with each other, especially since they are not getting that face-to-face interaction as they typically would in an in-person classroom environment. Social and collaborative learning should encourage peer discussions and teamwork, promote learner, instructor, and peer interactions for engagement, use web tools such as wikis, blogs, and discussion forums to enhance collaboration. And collaborations should be meaningful. When you are designing these opportunities, you have to make sure that the discussions are connected to the learning goals and objectives. Think about the outcomes when you are making these discussion forums. Great tools for online collaboration include Microsoft Teams, Canvas, Jamboard, Padlet. Those are great tools for establishing the discussions and communications. And as far as collaborative content creation, Canva is a great tool. Students can work on the same presentations together through Canva. Google Slides has this feature as well. And then MediaWiki, if students want to collaborate on a blog or a wiki page together, that is also a great tool for online collaboration. Authentic and active learning. When designing a learner-centered environment, it's important to make sure that students are given the opportunity to learn authentically. This means connecting the learning to students' personal experiences and intrinsic goals, and having the students be active in the learning by integrating virtual worlds, simulations, and game-based learning. Problem-based tasks and project-based tasks are also a great way to make learning authentic, as students are able to navigate real-life challenges and actually use critical thinking and problem-solving skills to navigate the learning versus just sitting there and listening to a lecture. Great tools for authentic learning online include PBL Works. PBL stands for project-based learning. So this source has a lot of great project-based tasks that instructors can use to help guide students through the learning and have students actually tackle problems and challenges that connect to the learning at hand. Google Earth is another great way to learn authentically. Students can actually explore the globe. There are also features on Google Earth where students can take a virtual field trip to certain spots. Simulation and virtual environments include Minecraft, especially for elementary students. They love Minecraft, and Minecraft does have an education platform where students can actually learn to code and code their own games, which is really awesome. And Labster is another great tool, especially for science. This is an online virtual science lab where you can actually simulate experience, experiments or medical labs. Gamification and game-based learning tools include Bottle or Prodigy, which are fun games where students can create an avatar. They can battle each other, but at the same time, they're still going through grade level based questions specifically for math or for reading and language arts. Kahoot and Blooket are other great game-based learning tools, which are mainly online quizzes, but Blooket actually has gamification elements to it. Students can actually play a game as they're answering questions. Student autonomy and personalization. Some of the greatest benefits to online learning is that it is flexible. Students are able to be self-paced with their learning and in turn can also self-regulate themselves. Online learning requires students to be independent and actually take charge of their learning. Online learning is also a great opportunity for instructors to make it personalized and adaptive to student needs. Great tools for supporting student autonomy include Socrative and Grammarly, which both use AI to give feedback to students. Socrative is an online AI tutor. Students can ask it questions and it'll give students specific feedback. Grammarly is specifically for grammar and writing. Students can upload their essays or actually use an add-on on their browser so that as they're typing, Grammarly can give feedback and let students know how their writing is going or give constructive feedback or corrections when needed. Dreambox Learning and iExcel Learning are great tools for adaptive learning. Um, Both use AI and data analytics to create tailored study plans for students. This also gives teachers opportunities to go in and actually view how students are doing and what areas students need the most help and support. The instructor as a facilitator. In a learner-centered environment, teachers guide discussions rather than lecture. Instructors are acting more as mentors, providing individualized support, and advocating for student needs while giving a little more control over to the students and having students have a little more control over their learning paths. Great tools for self-regulation and reflective learning to support the instructor's role as a facilitator include Seesaw, which is an online digital portfolio for students to showcase work and reflect. Other great tools for self-reflection and feedback are Formative and Google Forms, which allow instructors to create quizzes and tests, but then students are receiving real-time feedback as they're submitting their work. Edpuzzle is another great tool. Teachers can create videos that have built-in questions and interactive quizzes throughout the video, and students would receive real-time feedback on their answers throughout as well. The last strategy we'll talk about is student engagement. There are a lot of great ways to use technology to make learning fun and engaging for students. This means using multimedia tools such as Canva and Edpuzzle to make content delivery more interesting and more interactive and fun. Online learning can also incorporate interactive learning modules such as videos and gamification to make learning more interesting and fun for students. You can also leverage mobile devices, VR, augmented reality, and other tools to create immersive experiences, which kind of ties back to that authentic learning piece and making things more hands on and more experience driven for students. In summary, when one is designing and facilitating learner centered online learning, it is important to choose tools that align with learning objectives, while also integrating technology that is engaging and helps support student comprehension. Learner centered instruction should also promote collaboration and autonomy. Instructors can use tools that allow students to co create knowledge, reflect, and personalize their learning. Online instructors and designers can also integrate real world applications such as simulations, gamification, and project based platforms to help learners apply concepts in meaningful ways. Instructors can also provide multiple modes of engagement, such as videos, discussions, interactive quizzes, and VR, to cater to different learning styles. The key strategies discussed throughout this presentation are supported by the following references and frameworks: Huang, McCombs, and K and Kwok. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you enjoyed the presentation.